Hi, welcome to Lights, Camera, Action. I'm Allison Howard and your host for tonight. Tonight we're going to be doing the season finale where we're going to recap with all the different guests who were able to come back and talk to us a little bit more about what they've been doing since their episode aired. So first we have Erik Mueller. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me back.
So I know that you're staying busy with Wall Geek. How has that been going?
Very good. Well, as you know, Wall Geek is a sitcom about geeks who would love to make a ton of money on Wall Street. The only trouble is they're too nice.
Right.
So we're in our second season now, and we've finished a 22-minute episode.
That's a much longer episode. Yeah, that's great. Have you started to do like longer episodes? Because I know they had been shorter.
We're going to do some long ones, some short ones, but we wanted to do a long episode to give our fans a lot that they could really sink their teeth into.
Oh, that's great. So you offer more character development and more personal inner relationships and everything. That's great.
To get a lot into that. In fact, I think we have a clip of that. Let's take a look at that.
All right, absolutely. Here it is.
Just slip in a filter?
Yeah, we'll slip it in there.
Okay, so like use unsupervised learning to build a stain spotter?
Now, what's this about a stain spotter?
I was just telling Pei about stain spotters.
Yeah.
You can buy them online.
But why would anyone want to put a spot in a stain?
No, it's to get rid of spots. Yeah, spot means get rid of.
Does it?
Yes.
That is pretty strange.
No, it makes perfect sense. Haven't you ever heard of a contronym?
Look, what kind of stain are you trying to get rid of?
I have a stain, right here on my shirt, see?
No, I don't see it.
You don't? You must not have very good eyesight, look.
My eyesight is just fine.
Well, I have a stain.
Well, then why are you talking to Daniel about your stain?
Just making conversation.
Oh, God, whatever. Look, on much more important things. The back office called to give me a heads up that we've had a sudden uptick in the volume of the niceness exchange.
Oh.
Any idea what's going on?
Nope. No idea, none.
Well, could you guys look into it? Because maybe there's something we can capitalize on that'll make us even more money.
Sure, we're totally on board with that, yeah.
Good, awesome. Oh, and forget about the stain thing, okay?
That was great. So you're starting to incorporate a whole lot more comedy and like that's wonderful.
We're really going all out comedy now.
Now, I do know that you were lucky enough to go to Los Angeles and you submitted Wall Geek to an LA.
Right, the Los Angeles Web Series Festival. And we won 2 awards there. And we also won a 3rd award from the Accolade competition, which is actually based in San Diego. Want to feel it?
That's one hefty award. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm sure that all of your effort, all the effort you've put into this show, I mean, I'm sure that means a lot to you. So
it's great to have.
Yeah, so what else have you been up to?
Well, actually, the other thing I've been doing lately is improv. So I've been studying improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in Los Angeles and also Washington Improv Theater here in D.C.
That's fantastic.
And I was actually able to do 2 shows. It's great doing improv. You don't know what's going to happen.
Do you ever find that you're using a lot of the improv stuff in your show?
Well,
Wall
actually,
Geek?
we have used a little bit of improv in some of the scenes. Some of the actors have come up with some cool improv things, and actually, we're thinking of using more improv in new episodes, incorporating maybe scenes where we just have an outline of what's going to happen in the scene and letting the actors improv it, but not for the whole script.
Not the whole episode.
But for certain scenes, we may be doing more of that.
So what else is next? What else is going to happen?
Well, we're working on more episodes of Wall Geek, and we hope to get everyone to watch Wall Geek. Also, like our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/wallgeek.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
So now we have Nic Detorie from episode 6. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me back.
So what have you been up to?
You know, just hustling away, working. I've worked on some Army industrials and Army commercial. industrials for Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of like government stuff I've been working on. Other commercials, I did a Yingling commercial, amongst others. I'd have to look at my resume to think to name some, you know. You know, a couple print ads here and there. And I'm always training and practicing and going on auditions, so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So in the last episode, I know that we had talked about things that you had aspired to be a part of. Now,
yeah.
I hear you have some good news.
Yeah, I told you the last time that I've always really wanted to be in a horror movie, and I actually was cast in a horror movie as the lead male. So,
do you know when that'll be coming out? Can you give us any hints about what it's about?
Yeah, it's about a group of friends who have been going to a hayride haunted attraction for years, and we go to the haunted hayride attraction, and the macabre happens there.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, so we're shooting in the spring. We filmed the trailer at the end of October. So, and we shoot the feature in the spring. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. So I know the last time we had also spoken about how you do a lot of traveling between, you're from closer to Baltimore, but you also
North of Baltimore, yeah.
North of Baltimore. So you travel a lot to Philly and New York. Do you find that you're looking in those bigger markets more frequently now? Or do you try and keep it an even mix?
I think it's more of an even mix. It's really just, it's kind of a week by week sort of thing. It's like, you know, lately I've been in D.C. a lot, and then maybe, you know, the next week or the week before I was in Philly a lot. So it's just, you know, I go where the work is and just, you know, go wherever it takes me. So I enjoy the travel. So
you like traveling?
I mean, I can't say I'm always excited to be, you know, sitting in my car for hours on end, but I mean, you know, I like to see different places. I like to go to the different cities, so I'm not just in one city.
Right.
So it's fun.
What has been the coolest job so far that's taken you to like maybe an area of Philadelphia or an area of New York that you've never seen before? Even Baltimore even. I
don't even know if it's the coolest job, but I've gotten lost a couple times, which have kind of like trailed me into like, you know, little towns I've never seen.
Right.
So I don't really know if I have a particular job per se, but you know, there's been those times where I've been traveling and I've gotten lost and I've happened to stumble upon, you know, that little town that's unique in its own way. So
right. So I know that you've been working a lot and you've been really busy, and something that the two of us did together was an episode of America's Most Wanted.
So much fun, yeah.
So much fun, and you by far had the best character with the best wig.
Give it right to me, baby. Oh, sexy. Oh my God, Kay, you're gonna be the death of me. Let's take 5 and move it to the next look. Hey, fabulous people, we have work to do. Let's go. Come on.
Oh well, yeah. I've heard a lot of praise about the wig. Yeah.
But did you find that having that type of costume and having all of that helped you get into character?
Yeah, it did. It totally did. I was not sure what I was expecting, because they'd used me as like an extra role in the same episode too, if you remember.
Yes.
And I was worried that I was like, well, you know, are they gonna, you know, they're gonna see me twice.
Right.
But then, you know, when I became the photographer, people didn't even know it was me.
Right.
Even people on the set didn't even know it was me. So.
And you also had that groovy accent.
That's right, baby. That was a blast.
Yeah. Do you find that you tend to go for roles that are more character driven? Do you like the whole idea of creating?
I do, yeah, I like that. That's something I definitely, in the long run, would like to go more towards character roles. I mean, I like any kind of work.
Right.
And, you know, I have a passion for the craft and the art, but I really do enjoy jumping into a character and kind of becoming that, you know, person. It's a lot of fun.
Right,
yeah.
And it's also somebody that you aren't.
That's right.
You get to explore a different type of life. Now, can you think of think of a movie where it's where one actor is very character driven? Can you think of a role that you wish that you could reprise in your own way?
In my own way, out of a movie that's currently been
right.
out. Okay. Let's see. Wow, that's a tough question. I mean, I don't know if this is answering it correctly or not, but I really felt like Austin Powers kind of as the photographer.
Yeah.
So I had so much fun with that, because that's kind of what I used as my in my mentality. So
that's so great.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that you were
Thank
able
you.
to come back, and I can't
Thanks
wait
for
to
having
see.
me.
Right, I can't wait to see the more things that you're doing, and
Absolutely.
I'm so happy that you're having all of this success.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see more.
There's more to come.
Of course, the best is yet to come.
That's right. Absolutely.
So we're back with Jarreau Williams from episode 3. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. How have you been?
Really good. So you were in Sheer Madness the last time that we spoke.
Yes, I was.
How did that go?
Very blessed to be part of Sheer Madness, which recently celebrated 25 years in D.C. at the Kennedy Center. So I was really honored to be a part of that. Was in the show from February until late September, just really finished up the show.
That's a long running time.
Yeah, I was in the spring season from February to June, and then was asked to come back for a couple of stints, and I know it definitely won't be my last time in the show, as they've told me, so it was a great experience, helped me earn my equity card.
Right.
So that was a really, really great experience, and because of that, for Sheer Madness being at the Kennedy Center for 25 years, there were a few of us that were interviewed on Fox 5 with Holly Morris to talk about celebrating that anniversary, and so I was a part of that, and it was really, really a great opportunity.
That's so fun to be interviewed about something that you're currently doing, and of course your character was the detective, right?
Exactly, Mikey Thomas, yes.
Mikey Thomas.
Yes.
He's always a delight. So
fun.
Theater, you've obviously are equity. Have you done any film lately?
Yes, I have. I recently did a film. I did a training video actually for the IRS in the summer, and then I also did a student film, which I brought a clip of today. The film was titled A to Z, and in this clip that you're gonna see, I play James, who, along with my friend Ben, we're both salesmen for encyclopedias, and James is a little down on his luck because he hasn't sold as well as Ben has. But Ben talks to James about a sale that he just made, and I guess you can look at it right here. So A to Z.
Yeah, let's
check
take
it
a
out.
look.
Hey man, you cutting into my territory?
Yeah, man, you can have it. I'm batting 0. Did you hear about Larry?
Yeah, man. Dude got let go. But we survived another round.
Hey, I'm gonna be next if I don't start selling. And it's not an easy sell. You're asking somebody to waste a bookshelf on something that'll be dated by the time they sign the check.
I broke a dry spell earlier today. Sold to an older guy. This dude didn't even know what was going on. Thinks it's 1953. Probably won't even remember that he ordered them when they arrive. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, you could probably sell him another set. Hey, what's his address? Maybe I'll try.
Yeah. Sell him another set.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, did you bring anything from your character that you did with Sheer Madness to this character?
No, because it was a little different with James, because Mikey's very eager, and he's always anticipating what everyone's going to do because he wants to solve the crime, where in this case, James is a little down, and he's also trying to think, his job is on the line.
Right.
You know, because if he doesn't sell these encyclopedias, then it's over for him. He's got to find a new job, find a new situation, and things like that. So it was totally different, but it allowed me to be more versatile as an actor.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Are you going to continue to pursue film and theater, or is there anything else that you're going to be doing?
Definitely. I've been out auditioning, auditioned for a couple of films, auditioned for a couple of stage plays, but recently a couple of projects I've been getting involved in. I talked about before on episode 3 that I wanted to get involved with music, and I've definitely been doing that now. I just started a project. Writing some songs, writing a few melodies. I do a little beatboxing here and there, so I try to put those together to make some music. So I'm starting on that now.
What type of music? Is it like more hip hop, or is it?
It's a mix. I like the type of singer I am. I write hip hop. I write raps. Gospel, as well as like a beatbox. I put a little jazz into it as well. So hopefully in the next few years you'll be hearing lots more from me.
Right.
I like to be very versatile with everything I do.
So.
That's great. So are you, obviously you sing, or do you play any instruments?
No, the main instrument is
It's
right here in my
you.
mouth. So it's my mouth. So I do a lot of beatboxing, and from that I talk with people to help me move it along to give it that more like studio type sound.
That's great. Now, if you had to go out and learn an instrument, which one would you pick?
It would definitely be piano.
Piano.
Because I think piano allows you to really build on top of everything that you do. It's a definite starting point. You can be so creative on the piano because, you know, so many keys, so many different rhythms, and
you can get so many
like
different
that.
sounds from it depending on
exactly
how you compose the music.
Exactly. I wish I went back to when I was 9 years old and actually wanted to play the piano and not quit. So so I would go back and do that.
Well, maybe if you started playing again, it would come back.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I also wanted to say that I'm also in the process of writing a book right now as well. I put up a lot of motivational statuses on Facebook and any social media that I use, just in hopes of brightening people's day. So what I'm doing is I'm compiling all of the statuses that I've put up, and I'm in the process right now of writing a book. So, you know, that way it can reach out to more and more people, and people can be inspired. People can be motivated to do things they always wanted to do.
What a busy little bee we have.
Try to be motivated, try to stay busy. Try to stay up on the competition.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming back. It was
Thank
great
you
to
so
see
much
you.
for having me. Remember, check out JarreauWilliams.com for any info, updating news about me. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming back. So now we have Caroline O'Grady from episode 1. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me back.
So the last time we talked about Confab, the web series you were in, how is that going?
It's great. We actually wrapped it in the early spring, so it was a really great process working on a character for 13 episodes.
Yes.
Now we're kind of in that post-production period where we've got a trailer. We had a great premiere party in the city and premiered the first episode, and took press pictures and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and I actually brought in the trailer for you guys to watch. It's a web series, so you can only view it online on the website, and it's got all the information on the trailer. So, do you want to watch it?
Yeah, let's take a look. So that's great. So this is going to be something that's going to be only on the internet.
Only on the internet.
Is it going to be a YouTube based, or do you know if it's going to go?
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube. We have a Facebook page. We have a website. You can follow all of the 4 main characters on Twitter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they've really gone over and above with the marketing of this.
Yeah.
And because web series are becoming a lot more popular these days.
Yes.
That you have all these different avenues that you're marketing them through.
Right. So have you worked on anything else recently?
Yeah. Speaking of web series, actually I worked on this one that's been filming in the D.C. Baltimore area that's called House of Cards. It's a Kevin Spacey series. Netflix produced it. It's solely for Netflix. It was really great. I had gone in for a million auditions. And just like all kinds of bit roles, and every time I went in, like it got to the point where I was like, all right, great, I'm gonna go in and do this audition and not get cast again. Because for all those roles, the casting director in LA is casting them.
Right.
So they're accepting video auditions from DC and from Baltimore, from New York, and from LA. So not only are you competing against actors in this area, you're competing against actors in New York and LA and da-da-da-da. Well, finally, I got a call and they were like, all right, you got this part. Show up on set. You're going to be filming with Robin Wright, and it was the most amazing experience.
Wow.
Yeah, I had my own trailer, had the script, you know, went up there, shot this great scene with Robin Wright and a couple of other actors, and we just had a blast.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
It was great, yeah.
Do you know which episode you'll be in?
It's one of the last episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely, I think it's coming out soon. They have the trailer on Netflix
February
now.
2013, I think?
Yeah, I believe so. So that was a blast. That was like my first real big like SAG role.
Right.
Wow. You know, I've done SAG films and shorts and industrials and stuff like that. But that was the first time that I've really done like a big role like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
Thanks.
So it sounds like you're kind of moving up into the big leagues. Are you going to be making a jump to LA or New York soon?
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of working on that right now. I recently did another pilot that was a SAG pilot, and with SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, and all of the actors' unions, it gets to the point where you build up points and you can get eligibility, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to join right then.
Right.
And in this area, there's a lot more non-union work than union work, so you kind of have to time yourself well as to when you want to join. Unfortunately, if you work enough jobs, after you have that eligibility, you get to a must-join situation where you have to.
Yes.
I've kind of hit that like mark, and I'm actually going to make a jump to LA in the summer. So I'm hoping that, you know, to meet new casting directors out there, work a lot more jobs like the House of Cards gig, a lot more national commercials, things like that.
That's so exciting. So I'm sure that we will be seeing you a lot more in the future.
Hopefully.
I'm sure that we will. Caroline, thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
And I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
So we have Anita Moore back from episode 7. Thank you so much for coming back.
Hi, Allison. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so what have you been up to?
Since we aired the episode 7, I've been on House of Cards a couple of different times since, and the trailer for House of Cards just came out, and I'm in the trailer. So
that's great. Which part of the trailer are you in?
I'm in the beginning. It will be where there's the inauguration scene, and I'm sitting a couple of seats down from Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright. So that was exciting.
How was that to film?
It was fun. It was actually great because I could hear Kevin Spacey saying his lines to the camera, and I mean, it just looks, with the trailer, it looks like it's going to be really good. I'm excited.
The trailer does look fantastic. What season were you filming that scene?
It was January.
It was January, so it was really cold, so you did need those coats.
But we actually filmed in April.
Oh,
so
okay, so you actually didn't need the coats.
Didn't need the coats, but it was inside in at the sound stage.
Oh, was it?
So they had the fans going to make it look like the wind was blowing. And
right. Did they do a green screen?
Not the day that we filmed, but definitely all those people were not there.
Wow, that's very, very cool. So what else have you been doing? So you were with House of Cards. I know you've worked a lot on that. Veep is in the area. Have you been working on Veep?
Actually, I just filmed yesterday on Veep for season 2, and it's a scene where it'll be in episode 1, season 2, where Julia Louis-Dreyfus gets off her campaign bus and she makes a stop in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I'll be in the mini crowd outside of the bus, and she's shaking my hand for about 5 minutes, and the director tells me to talk to her. So I got to talk to her for like 5 minutes yesterday, just being the creeper in the crowd while she is making all sorts of gestures and movements to her people to try to rescue her from the creepy people in the crowd. So it was pretty fun.
Wow. Did you try and, get a Wisconsin accent?
No accent. I'm from northern PA, so I'm not sure if I'm Midwestern, but it was just fun talking to her, and she was making faces at me and pulling her ears, sticking her tongue out, and I'm like, I just kept talking, telling her, oh my gosh, she's great, and how she, I was excited when she won the Emmy, and it was hilarious when she did her acceptance speech.
So funny. That was a great part of the Emmys. So you've been working a lot lately. Have you taken any classes?
Actually, I have. That's what I've been focusing on since I last saw you. I've been doing the drop-ins at Studio Bow in Baltimore with Ken Arnold, and he's bringing down some great people from New York. I took a class with Kathy Searle on commercial auditions, and that's really helped me.
That's great, because I know you do a lot of presentations in working as a nurse. Have you found that you've incorporated some of the things you've learned in class in the presentations that you give at work?
Actually, I have. So the difference being when I give a presentation at work, I'm lecturing, and there's a room full of like 20, 25 people. And the hardest transition that I'm finding is when I'm auditioning for a commercial or speaking to the camera, reading my lines, is actually trying to visualize a person, an actual person that I'm talking to, instead of trying to lecture or teach, you know, or come off like I'm trying to sell something, you know, instead of just being relaxed and talking. So.
Yes, so there is that big difference. Now, if you want to get more into the acting side, are you going to try and take any classes that help you develop character?
Actually, that's my next plan. That was a suggestion when I've done some of these drop-in classes, is that they're suggesting maybe taking improv classes and just really developing myself and, you know, my, you know, being able to speak on stage and just, yeah, definitely the character development is my next move, is taking classes.
That's
with improv.
wonderful. So I'm so glad to hear that you've been staying busy and that you've been working as much as you have. It's so fantastic. And here's a good question for you. If I get to interview you again down the road, what would be the biggest piece of news that you would like to be able to give me?
So I went on an audition up in Philadelphia for a national commercial. They needed an actual nurse who had camera experience. So I read for that last Thursday, and I'm hoping that I get booked for the national commercial. And Department of Homeland Security PSA was filmed a few months ago, and that should be coming out soon. So I booked that. So I think going to classes definitely helps, and I'm just really trying to develop my skills as an actor.
Wow, congratulations, and we will definitely be seeing more of you on the big screen.
I'm excited. Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks.
So we have Jesse Robinson from episode 3. Thank you so much for coming back.
No problem. I'm back.
So how have things been? Have you been staying busy?
I'm alive. Been busy a lot. My first semester at George Mason, I have a radio show which just wrapped for my first season.
That's
so,
fantastic.
Yeah, I covered sports and a music rotation. Yeah, so.
Have you always wanted to be a DJ, like a radio DJ?
I find radio interesting, and it was almost like a little split off from I always wanted to do the voice acting, like I mentioned last time I was on. Speaking of that, I also joined the George Mason Voice Actors and Impressions Club. So busy stuff at Mason, plus taking an acting class next semester. So
wow.
A lot of stuff going on at Mason, but the semester's almost over, so yes.
Oh, stop. You need to cherish this time. Cherish the time. So what have you worked on anything lately? Any sort of film?
Yeah, I did the training video that we talked about earlier, and it was a tips training video where I had to go and be an underage minor trying to buy alcohol. So that was pretty interesting. Do you want to take a look at that?
Yes, we do. Let's look at it right now.
Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
You enjoying the game?
Sure.
I came up to grab a beer. There wasn't any vendors in my seat, so could you grab me one? Okay, I know what you're thinking. I may look a little underage, but I promise I'm of age. Look, there's my ID.
So, I mean,
it was fun. It was fun.
You of course have never done this before.
Oh no.
Never.
No. But yeah, I did that, and then over the summer I did a theater show at the Old Opera House in Charlestown, West Virginia. It was The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Who did you play?
I always loved being the villain. I played Frollo. So
that's great.
We have a picture of that, don't we?
Yes, we do. So, I mean, what was it like to try and create that type of character? Because have you ever played a villain?
That's what I get. Villain when
Really?
I was younger, and I always have the angry face when I was younger when I was auditioning, so it was always like bully, angry jock, all of this stuff. But now that I get a little older and I can grow facial hair, it's like, oh, evil villain. So, and
But you're such a happy person. Like, I would
it's
never.
fun. The change is great. I love it.
I'm sure.
I love being a villain. And
have you found that? Is there any like one role that you've thought has been the best that you've done so far, and has it been a villain?
Villain-wise, yeah, I really did like Frollo.
You did.
It was the most yelling I've ever done on stage. I'll always remember the stage manager on the side. She's like, of the Sunday show, she was like, it was unbelievable. It brought me to tears. The scene with me and Quasimodo were yelling at him and stuff. So, yeah, it's fun being a villain. Most people are like, what? You're goofy best friend jock guy, but I love being a villain. That's what I want to win, Best Supporting for a villain.
Villain? Well,
Best Supporting has been 3 years in a row, villains. The past 3 years of the Oscars, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, then, you know, maybe that's just going to be your thing. That'll be your calling card eventually.
It's a calling.
It's a calling. So what's going to happen next for you?
What is happening next? Okay, so we have the second season of my radio show coming up next semester. I don't know the exact date, but semester picks up around January 22nd, 23rd.
Okay.
You can check that out at WGMUradio.com. So I'll have a sports rotation show and a music hour. So that'll be interesting. That's WGMUradio.com.
Is that how you do it on the show?
Oh, yeah. WGMUradio.com.
Well, that was just a nice little sneak peek
there.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said you do sports and music. Is there any other venue of that you'd like to talk about? Like, would you ever want to talk about entertainment or politics or?
I occasionally will talk about concerts in the area.
Okay.
I always do the weather, and then I just...
Do you ever do traffic?
No. A walking traffic.
I know, walking traffic. Like, right now, there's a big block up at the student union.
It's pretty congested in the Johnson Center right now.
I mean, you never know when that might come in handy.
Oh, it's always congested in the Johnson Center, don't worry. So, yeah.
Wow. So what's your major?
Communications.
Communications. So that's your realm. Who knows? You might be the next, what's his name? Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest.
Ooh, no.
Well, I mean, he does radio and TV.
Yeah, maybe.
It wouldn't be a bad gig.
Hey, I'm not complaining, but I'm going for the more like Robin Williams thing. So,
well then.
love me some Robin. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming back.
No problem.
It's been great to see you.
It was great to see you too.
And I can't wait to see and hear you on the radio.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Be sure to check it out.
So now we have Oriana Oppice from episode 9. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
So what have you been up to since we last chatted?
So I've been preparing for the great move up north.
You're going to New York.
New York. So excited. I hope to be there in a couple months.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's been, it's taken a lot of preparation.
I'm sure, because there's so many things that you have to prepare for. Now, what have you been getting in order? I know you have a website.
Yes.
And you have a reel now.
I do have a reel, yep.
Yes, and let's take a little sneak peek at it.
Who the hell was my husband? A falling star fell from your heart and landed in my arms.
Okay, so you have a full reel put together and you have a website. Obviously, you're kind of trying to make yourself like a little business.
That's exactly what it is. I think, you know, when I first started out in Los Angeles, I didn't think of it that way. You know, I think a lot of people, especially in LA, think, well, you just go out there and you just audition and things just happen.
Right.
And that's not the case, or at least, you know, there's a lot more that you can do for yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, marketing yourself is a huge component, especially in DC. And I think it's really important when you're thinking of making a huge move too.
Right. So you've already worked in LA and now you've worked here a bit too, and now you're going to be seeing another market of New York. Can you think of anything that's drastically different between like here in New York, for instance, or anything that, you know, what is the biggest thing that you're going to be preparing for?
I think in some ways New York is going to be similar to LA in terms of size, just size of the market, competition. I mean, the pool is much bigger. How is it different from here?
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be more 24 hours a day than it is here. I mean, I'm 24 hours here, but I think there it's going to be, you know, if all things going well, audition. So I'm going to have to be more on my game in terms of my actual craft and in terms of the business aspect of it.
Now, when you're talking about being on top of it with your craft, are you thinking about trying to take any classes at any conservatories? Have you been looking into auditioning for any of them?
Well, I'm actually going to go to the same studio I used when I was in Los Angeles, and that was Carter Thor. So I've worked with them before, and they just opened a studio in New York.
Oh, wow.
I'm really excited. Jock McDonald is the head coach there, and he's just amazing. I've missed him dearly, so I'm really excited.
So did you study with him in LA?
I studied with him in Montreal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so that's Carter Thor East, and then when I was in Los Angeles, it was just Carter Thor.
Wow.
So now I'm going back east. I'm really excited. And that is classes, you know, once a week. You are meeting with your rehearsal partner during that week to get the scene down. I mean, it's intense, and it's really, really good.
Right, but obviously it's going to be something that you're going to use to fortify your craft and get character development and all of that type of stuff. So the big move to New York is going to be your next big thing.
That's it. I'm so excited.
So are you going to be looking more towards doing character roles, or are you going to also try and do commercials as well? Are you going to try and get into every market? How about theater? Have you considered doing theater again?
You know, theater, I think especially in New York, is really a completely different animal, and I think I have to be really smart about focusing on
one or the other.
Well, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely want to do commercials, definitely want to keep up with theatrical on-screen stuff.
Right.
And you know, if something comes up that's really a really cool project on the stage, I'll certainly go for it, but I'm going to be focused.
Right, absolutely. Wow. So it sounds like you've been thinking about a lot of different things, and this is going to be a big move. So I'm so excited to see how this goes for you, and I might see you in New York.
Yes, that'd be great. I'd love to have you.
I know. I'd be so excited. I'll probably be like, Oriana, what do I do? So yeah, thank you so much for coming back. It's been great chatting with you.
Thanks.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Allison. I'm really excited.
So here we have Mary Suib from episode 4. Thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, it's a joy to come back. I always enjoy being with you, Allison.
Oh, that's a nice compliment. So
we have had fun together.
I know. We do get along quite well. So tell me, it's been a while since I've seen you. So what have you been up to?
Well, I try to keep busy.
And I know you do.
So I just got back from North Carolina, where I did my first musical, because they promised me I didn't have to sing.
Were they telling the truth?
Well, after I tried to sing, they said, yeah, oh yes, don't sing. I played Old Henry.
Okay.
So I was this interesting character who was neither man nor woman, old nor young. He was just a very interesting person. And so Henry had a great time. I got to come out of a trunk. I got to jump and leap and present Shakespearean lines.
Oh, wow.
And then the crazy kind of things too. So it was wonderful fun, and I really enjoyed being in North Carolina, and I loved working with the group No Rules Theater. Nice people.
Now those are the people that put on the Fantastics?
Right, and they're here in D.C. They have two theaters. They run a theater here in D.C. out of Signature.
Okay.
And then they have the theater down in North Carolina, in Winston-Salem. In fact, our theater down in North Carolina was called the Haynes Brand Theater. Those are the same people who make socks and underwear.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
So they had sponsored it. But it was really nice and a lot of fun, and I worked with some super people. So it was a good experience.
So you worked down in North Carolina. How long did that show run for?
We had a 3-week run, but I was down there for a little over a month.
Oh, wow. So you kind of moved there for a month.
Yeah.
Now, how was life different in comparison to D.C. life versus North Carolina life?
Well, it was actually really nice because of the fact that it is a smaller city and there's just not any congestion. But there is a lot of interesting artsy kinds of stuff because that's the site of the North Carolina School of the Arts.
Oh, wow.
And so because of the school, there is just a tremendous amount of theater, dance, music, design. I mean, they're really, really talented people.
Wow, so a lot of opportunities, a lot of different...
Well, a lot of things to see and to do. Yes.
Wow.
So I really liked the people I met. And the other thing that was sort of funny was because of the fact that I was by far the oldest person in the cast.
The wisest.
But, you know, a lot of older people come to the theater. And so I was the favorite among a lot of the older people because I was doing all this kind of physical stuff and leaping and whatnot. And they kept wanting to know, how old are you? But I wouldn't tell.
You just tell them you're 25.
I should.
That's not
That's
a lie.
what the rest of them were.
Yeah, exactly. So what else have you been doing? So you were in North Carolina.
Right. Well, before that, I did 3 shows with the Fringe.
Yes.
The Capitol Fringe.
That's a wonderful festival to be a part of.
Oh, and it was. I had 3 very different things.
Wow.
I did this one with Banished Productions.
Okay.
A charming girl named Carmen Wong, who's very creative. And I did a voice piece where I was as if I was walking alongside you, telling you what you would see as you went on this walk. And that was sort of fun. I'd never done anything like that before, and people liked it.
So did you pre-record your lines?
I pre-recorded the whole walk.
Okay. Wow.
So you'd get this on an earphone, and it would be like, the earphones would be like somebody who was walking beside you.
That's very neat. Had you ever been a part of something that that abstract, I guess?
Wow. But it was fun.
Yes, I'm sure.
Then I worked with Faction of Fools, which is an Italian commedia kind of group, or the commedia dell'arte. So there I was being very physical because I was a zany.
Right.
Which is part of, one of the characters from the commedia. And that was fun. I had never done anything like that before. Again, this person named Matt Wilson is, Matt Wilson, well, I have 2 Matt friends.
Okay.
Matt Wilson and Matt Williams. Matt Wilson, and he is just incredibly clever and charming and really in helping you get to do all this physical stuff. So that was great. And then I did a straight play, or straight, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Okay.
I played Polonius in that.
Oh, wow. It sounds like you've been doing so much and have had a variety of different...
Well, even more, I did this movie, or did the start of this movie, we'll see if it ever gets finished, with a deaf Russian director.
Oh, wow.
But the film is to be for hearing audiences. So I'm very curious as to how this whole thing will work out in the end.
And so we'll just have to wait and see how that ends up going.
Right.
But we're out of time.
Oh,
I know, 5 minutes goes by so fast. It was so good seeing you.
It's wonderful to see you.
And I'm so proud of you that you've been staying so busy, and I can't wait to see more of you.
Well, come anytime.
So now we have Josh Murray from episode 5. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me again.
So what have you been up to since we last saw you?
Well, I've been, besides the acting, I've been doing a lot with my film, The Soliloquy, on the festival circuit and such.
Yeah.
We've gotten several awards so far this year. Got Best Editor, and I also won Best Actor at the Gideon Film Festival.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just recently won the Gold Peer Award for Best Short at the TIVA Awards.
Congratulations. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking it was great, and I think we should watch it.
Okay.
So here it is.
Great. If it were done, when 'tis done, and too well it were done quickly.
So you wrote it, correct?
I developed the story with
Okay.
with a friend of mine who was also working on the project, and then I was kind of the lead producer and director on it as well.
Wow. So was this one of your first big ventures when it came to directing?
This is the only time I've directed, and this is the first time trying to make a film. Yeah.
Wow. How did you enjoy the director's chair? Because you also starred in it.
Right. It made it more difficult to act, you know, trying to deal with this sort of temptation to be busy directing yourself while you're acting.
Right.
So I knew that was going to be a challenge, but we took a lot of time with it. We took our time with it, so I was able to kind of learn as I went and figure out how to do that.
Well, it turned out great, so I think you have a good thing going here. So what else have you been doing?
Since our last interview, one of the cool films I did was Game of Pawns, which I play originally the title character, who's it's a true life story based on a guy who was caught for attempting espionage.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for the Chinese, and was ultimately arrested. But it's just sort of chronicling his experience with that. And I actually won the Silver Peer Award at TIVA for that role.
Congratulations for all these awards.
Yeah, and so that was very cool. We shot it in the area, but it was set in Shanghai, a lot of it. So we were in Chinatown, and we were creating these fake Chinese sets and stuff.
That's really cool. I was going to ask how you dealt with the environmental elements that you had to create. So you obviously.
Yeah, well, luckily I didn't have to create any of them.
Thank goodness.
But they did a great job with it. Some of it was green screen, and I had to learn some Chinese.
Do you speak any language?
I don't speak any of the languages, but I had to learn some phrases in Mandarin.
Did you find it difficult? Because I know they have 4 tones.
Yeah, they do. They have 4 tones. I kind of got it at fairly well somewhere through the project.
Right.
But we always had like 20 Chinese extras on set
good.
who were helping me and criticizing me.
Right.
You know, the whole time.
Right.
Yeah,
Because you don't want to say something incorrectly, and by changing a tone, it can actually change the meaning.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And it's very precise.
Yes.
And it's always different. You know, like each person thinks it's different. So
right.
It's like ni hao. It's like no ni hao.
That's funny. So what else? I know that you also did 2 feature-length films recently.
You know, I did 4 or 5 feature-length films since then, but the 2 big ones was Killing Lincoln, where I played Lewis Powell, who's Booth's kind of right-hand man, henchman in the film, and that is one of the producers, executive producers on that is Ridley Scott, and the writer's Eric Jensensen, who did Band of Brothers.
Wow.
And Tom Hanks is going to be narrating, so it's going to be a really exciting piece to be part of.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And the other big one was Wish You Well, which I did most recently, and that was starring Josh Lucas and Ellen Burstyn. And I play the dad of the main character, which is played by Mackenzie Foy from Twilight.
Oh wow, very cool. Well,
So and that's a great. It's going to be great. It's going to be a theatrical release film. It's going to be a really great family film. It's set in the 40s. It's about a coming-of-age story about a young girl in the country.
Wow. So it sounds like you've been doing quite a bit, and I can't wait to see you in more things. And congratulations on all the accolades. They're well-deserved. And I hope to be seeing more of you, but hopefully on a bigger screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So because Lights, Camera, Action invites guests from near and far, some people weren't able to make it today, but had wanted to showcase some of the recent projects that they had done. So here are some things that some of our former guests have done recently.
Come one, come all, to the beautiful, the curious, the wondrous world of the Walters. Tell me, have you ever seen a perpetual motion machine? Money, I like this guy's style. Behold, a mummified cat. Meow, I'm dead. And the most peculiar thing of all, the Walters Art Museum is free!
Exhibitions are free at Constellation Thursday nights at the Walters, 5 to 9 p.m. every Thursday.
So this has been Lights, Camera, Action, the season finale. We're going to be starting up season 2 in the new year, so I hope everybody tunes in. See you next time.